going on out there in internet land? People have been requested to do a video over arm bars, the kettlebell arm bar. And since there are 4 different versions that I know of that I teach here in the studio, I had a student ask to go over those so he knew which ones was which. So I figured I'd just do a whole video for YouTube, a quick one. I know I need to get caught up with everybody. I don't have a mic. That's okay. Turn your volume up and listen up, clean your ears out, whatever. I'll get a mic though. But there are 4 different ones. The original arm bar is what we were taught at Strong First. There is a bent or crooked arm bar, which sort of mimics the bent press. There is a arm bar rotation, which is great for internal and external rotation of the shoulder. And then there is a weighted Bretzel, or a weighted arm bar that uses a kettlebell with a nice rotation, T-spine twist, T-spine rotation. Most of these do the same thing. They're for shoulder stability, mobilization, a little bit of T-spine mobilization as well. The arm bar rotation, there's not a lot of movement in that except for from the shoulder as far as internal and external rotation. And then the weighted arm bar, or weighted Bretzel, is more of a static. You're going to get into that using a kettlebell into your Bretzel position. If you're familiar with a Bretzel, then you'll know exactly what I'm going to do there. If not, then you'll see how to use the weight in that to get a nice rotation, sort of untwist yourself, unwind yourself if you're feeling sort of twisted up and stiff. So I'll go over those. I'm not going to make this video super long. Always done with a light bell. Rule of thumb is 1/3 of what you can press, right? 1/3 of what you can press. So just for an example, if you can press the 40 kilo, 1/3 of that is about 13. So 12 kilos is about as heavy as you need to go. So pressing the 40 kilo, that's a pretty strong guy or girl, if they can press that. But the 12 is about as big as you need to go. So you don't need to go real heavy with an arm bar. I'm just gonna use an 8 kilo for today's examples, demonstrations. The first one I'm gonna do is your straight or regular OG Strong First arm bar. I'm gonna set this 12 out of the way. So, real quick, take our bell, straight arm, knee is bent on the same side, and then I'm thinking straight line between the leg, the opposite leg, and opposite arm. I want to make a straight line. I'm going to push myself over, leave this arm as vertical as I can. Go ahead and come on over. This is what we call the kickstand position. Make sure this thing isn't waving around like a flag in the wind. Walk this arm back if we can a little bit. Unhook, shoulder width on the stance with toes pointed down. And then I'm going to use my hips, push them towards the floor, make a small rotation. Leaving this arm as vertical as I can. I don't want it to pull back on the bell, even though that stretch feels pretty good. I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave this vertical, let my hips control that. You know, if you can, walk this arm back as far as you can, even if your head comes off of your arm and you're looking down towards the ground, doing those rotations, all right? So this is your normal arm bar, OG arm bar position. The hips are doing the movement, very small. I'm not rolling back and forth. I'm just pushing down, exhaling, trying to stay relaxed, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and stay on the same side. The next one is the bent arm bar. The only thing that changes is my knee comes up above my hip joint, okay? Knee joint above the hip joint. Everything else is pretty much the same. I turn palm towards head, bell towards feet. Keep my forearm as vertical as I can, and then I bend that elbow and let that drop down, still keeping the palm facing the head and the bell facing the feet with a vertical forearm. I let that sink behind. Now this one doesn't have a ton of movement, so I'm just gonna sit here and breathe, relax, and let that sink down, open my chest up, sort of mobilize that shoulder. For my newer students, I don't like them to press out of this. This can be an awkward position to press out of. So what I have them do is just bring that bell closer to them as they're rolling over on their back to get out of this, okay? So this is the position for a bent arm bar, and I'm doing my breaths. I'm counting my breaths as reps, anywhere from 5 to 10 breaths. Nice exhale, relax, let it sink down. And when you're coming out of that, just bring the bell closer to you, roll over on your back, park the bell, and switch sides, okay? Again, I'm gonna stay on the same side just because it's better for the camera. The next one I'm going into, same setup, These all pretty much have the same setup. Rolling over. This next one is armbar rotations. So similar start to the bent or crooked armbar, but from here I'm just going to rotate my shoulder in and out. So a nice internal rotation of the shoulder, a nice external rotation. Try to get all the way to the end of your range of motion when you're doing that. Keep the knee joint above the hip joint for added stability so you can focus on the actual rotations of your shoulder. So number 3, armbar rotations. Okay, we got regular armbar, number 1, bent or crooked armbar, number 2, and then the armbar rotations as number 3. Now, the weighted Bretzel or weighted armbar is a little bit different to get into. I'm gonna bring this hand down. Now, most people are so tight, and when they start to do this, going into that bent armbar position, what I wanna do is try to get this elbow to the ground, right? I'm gonna have to open up a little bit. Like for me, to get that all the way down is pretty limited today. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that open up. I bring this elbow, this right elbow down to the floor and let that relax. And so from here you can see that I'm in what would look like a Bretzel, okay, if you're familiar with the Bretzel move. Then all I'm gonna do is take my hand, relax my head looking up at the ceiling, and I'm gonna push my knee down towards the floor, trying to keep those hips stacked. I don't want any kind of pinching or uncomfortable feeling in the lumbar spine and the low back. You should feel it pretty much everywhere else but there. So if I can, I'm gonna go ahead and get that knee down to the ground. Hang out here for a little while, 90 seconds minimum. Hang out here and try to get that opened up, get those shoulders sort of down on the floor, the chest opened up towards the ceiling, and just hang out here and relax and breathe. This one, I say hold this. There's not a lot of movement in this. Hold this for about 90 seconds minimum per side. And when you're coming out of this one, it's really easy. Just unroll. Just take that, roll over on your back, grab the bell, park the bell. So those are your 4 different styles of arm bars. OG, number 1, bent or crooked, number 2, armbar rotations, number 3, and weighted Bretzel or weighted arm bar, number 4. Start off with the original number 1, work that one for a while. That's great for building shoulder stability and a little bit of mobilization. Really helps sort of unlock you, get you ready for overhead presses, bench press, Turkish get-ups, snatches, any of that stuff where you're going to be using your shoulders in either horizontal or vertical pushing fashions or catch and snatch, overhead carries, any of that good stuff, okay? So use those, put them into your toolbox. Don't let them get out of your toolbox, and use them daily. All right, y'all have a good one.